Since budget night, everyone wants a brand new house and land package. New builds kept negative gearing, new builds kept the 50% capital gains discount. Established property lost both. So the money is stampeding one way. Here's the problem. I ran Melbourne's 6 biggest new build corridors through our investment filters this week. The same filters we use for our own clients. All 6 failed, not 1, not 3, all 6. And one of them is failing by almost 10 times our threshold. If you're new here at PropSpotter, we do 3 things. We research 30 plus institutional data sources filtered down to the handful of suburbs that are actually investment grade. We source our own listing alerts across Melbourne and Tasmania, including off-market properties you won't see on the portals. And we coach. You get us on WhatsApp long after settlement because buying is the start, not the finish line. Fixed fees, no commissions from anyone, a deliberately small client book, and you apply to work with us, you don't inquire. Links below. Now let's get into the data. Quick recap because it matters for what follows, and then we're done talking tax because tax is a how question and this channel answers where. On the 12th of May, the federal budget rewired property investment. Buy an established property now, and from July 2027, you can no longer deduct rental losses against your salary. Losses get quarantined. They can only offset future rental income or future property gains. And the 50% capital gains discount is being replaced with an inflation indexation and a 30% minimum tax. But new builds were carved out. Buy an eligible new build and you keep negative gearing and you get to choose the old 50% discount or the new system, whichever is better for you. So the entire tax system is now pointing investors at one product and one only: brand new stock, which means the herd is heading to exactly the one place, the growth corridors. And that is where the data gets ugly. At PropSpotter, before any suburb gets near our shortlist, it has to clear 2 hard filters. Not guidelines, filters. Fail either one and the suburb is out, no matter how good the brochure looks. Filter 1, the vacancy rate under 1.5%. Vacancy is the purest supply and demand signal in property. Under 1.5%, tenants are competing for your property. That's rent pressure, that's income security. Above it, you are competing for tenants. Filter 2, building approvals ratio under 1%. That's new dwelling approvals as a share of existing stock. Above 1%, the future supply pipeline can swamp demand and price growth drowns in it. Developers can keep making more of the thing you just bought. Scarcity is the entire game in property, and a heavy pipeline of approvals is the opposite of scarcity. Notice something. Neither filter mentions tax, because tenants don't pay you more rent because you got a deduction. And the buyer of your property in 10 years doesn't pay you more because your accountant was happy. Fundamentals first, always. So let's run the 6 suburbs where Melbourne's new build activity is concentrated: the west, the north, and the southeast corridor. Through those 2 filters, houses only. The first one, Tarneit, vacancy 3.4%, more than double our threshold. Approvals ratio 3.95%, nearly 4 times over. Fail. Truganina next door, vacancy 3.16, approvals 3.93 on new buildings. Double fail. Wyndham Vale, vacancy 4.1% today, and here's the scary part: in January, in another video, I talked about how it hit 7.3%. 7% of rental houses sitting empty. Our threshold, 1.5. Fail. Down to the southeast, Clyde North, vacancy 3.5, approvals ratio 7.7%. The pipeline is running at nearly 8 times our limit. Fail. Officer, vacancy 1.8, the closest anyone gets to a pass and still a fail. Approvals 5.7%. And then there's Mickleham in the north, vacancy 4.4%, more than 3 times our threshold, and the approvals ratio around 9.5%. That is roughly 10 times our limit. Almost 1,200 new houses approved against a stock of under 13,000 in 1 year. The suburb is being built around you while you hold it. 6 suburbs, 2 filters each, 12 tests, 12 failures. And the yields don't save it either. These corridors are returning roughly 2.9 to 3.5%. Under the new rules, if you're negatively geared on an established house out here, those losses don't even offset your salary anymore. You'd be relying entirely on capital growth in suburbs where the supply tap is jammed open. Now compare that with Melbourne's established middle rings. Same price bracket, completely different physics. Sunshine West, vacancy 1.28%. That's a pass. Approvals ratio 0.19%. Another pass. There were 12 new houses approved there last year. 12 against 8,500 existing houses. You cannot make more in Sunshine West. And look how long owners hold. In the corridor, the average hold period is 4 to 6 years. People churn in and churn out. In Sunshine West and Reservoir, owners hold for 10 or 11 years. Tightly held streets in suburbs where almost nothing new can be built. And here's the post-budget kicker. Existing investors are grandfathered. They keep negative gearing as long as they hold. So the budget just handed every investor in a tightly held suburb a reason to never sell. Listings in the tight markets got tighter and the scarce markets just got scarcer. And this is important. I'm not telling you to run out and buy the middle ring either. Reservoir fails our vacancy filter by just 1.81%. Glenroy passes vacancy but fails approvals, just 1.43%. And every one of these suburbs has a years to own number at the headline level that would make you wince. Melbourne houses at the suburb median are expensive relative to rent, full stop. This is exactly why we work at the segment level, not the suburb median. Markets within markets. The right street, the right stock, the right entry segment inside a passing suburb is completely different investment to the suburb's headline number. That's the research work. That's the 30 plus data sources. So here's the principle to take from today. The budget changed how property is taxed. It did not change where property fundamentals are strong. And when the government points a tax incentive at one type of stock, the herd runs at it straight into suburbs where the vacancy is triple the safe level and the supply pipeline is running at 4, 7, or even 10 times what a scarce market looks like. A tax break is the icing. It is never the cake. If the asset fails on vacancy and fails on supply, the deduction is just a nicer way of describing your losses. If you want to know where the suburbs are that actually pass the tight vacancy, dead pipeline, right segment opportunities across Melbourne, Tasmania, and the rest of this nation, that's exactly what we do for a small number of our clients at a time. Fixed fee, no commissions, research, source, and coach. You apply, you don't inquire. The application link is on our website. If the numbers in this video made you rethink a house and land contract you were about to sign, apply today before you sign anything else.